Have you ever sat down at the table only to feel your stomach push back after just a few bites? Have you ever had to rush out of a meeting because of sudden stomach pain, left worried and wondering what's really going on inside your body? And have you ever thought that those small, everyday habits you barely notice might actually be the reason your gut is crying out for help? In today's video, we'll dive into 10 daily habits that may seem harmless, but quietly make IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, worse. You'll learn why that morning coffee, those rushed meals, or those late nights without enough sleep can all turn into gut wreckers. I'll also share real-life examples, common mistakes many Americans make, and most importantly, simple, down-to-earth solutions you can use right away to make life a little easier each day. Before we begin, let me ask you this. If just a few small changes could noticeably calm your IBS symptoms, would you be willing to give them a try? Let's find out together. 1. Skipping meals and eating too quickly. Have you noticed how, when you skip breakfast or rush through lunch, your stomach often reacts right away? For a healthy person, it might just mean mild discomfort. But for someone living with IBS, this seemingly small habit is like a spark that triggers cramps, bloating, or diarrhea. When you skip meals, your gut stays empty for longer, making contractions more sensitive and irregular. On the other hand, eating too fast forces your stomach and intestines to work overtime on poorly chewed food. The result? Gas buildup, unpredictable bowel movements, and maybe even an urgent trip to the restroom right after eating. I remember a friend of mine in New York who worked an office job. She often skipped breakfast, thinking it would save time and help her stay slim. Lunch? She ate it in less than 10 minutes at her desk, typing away while chewing. Not long after, IBS began knocking at her door. Bloating, cramps, and sudden pain that forced her to leave meetings in the middle. Only when her doctor explained it did she realize that her irregular eating habits were fueling the problem. Lesson: our gut needs rhythm. Eating on time, in smaller portions, and chewing slowly not only makes digestion easier, but also signals safety to the nervous system in the gut. Sometimes, just adding 5 minutes to sit down, put your phone aside, and truly focus on your meal can change the way your body feels. And if irregular eating is one obvious trigger, another hidden culprit can quietly make IBS worse: caffeine and fizzy drinks that many Americans enjoy every day. Up next, let's see why just 1 cup of coffee or 1 can of soda might make your gut speak up. 2. Overdoing coffee, soda, and energy drinks. For many Americans, the morning doesn't really start without a hot cup of coffee. At work, a cold soda or an energy drink has become a constant companion. But for those living with IBS, these drinks can quietly stir up the gut every single day. Caffeine, the main ingredient in coffee and energy drinks, stimulates the gut's nervous system. This speeds up bowel contractions, which can easily lead to cramping and diarrhea. Artificial sweeteners found in diet sodas and sugar-free drinks, like aspartame and sorbitol, are another problem, often causing gas, bloating, and discomfort. For most people, this might just be minor, but for someone with IBS, sometimes just a single cup of coffee in the morning is enough to ruin the entire day. I once spoke with a truck driver in Texas. He had the habit of drinking at least 3 cans of energy drinks every day to stay awake on long routes. At first, he only noticed a little rumbling in his stomach. But gradually, cramps became more frequent and so intense that he had to pull over on the highway. At the hospital, doctors explained that caffeine and artificial sweeteners were the real culprits behind his worsening IBS. After cutting back on caffeine and switching to warm peppermint tea, he felt much better, his gut calmed down, and even his sleep improved. Lesson: you don't need to give up coffee or tea completely. The key is moderation and making smarter choices. A lighter cup of coffee or a mild green tea can still give you focus without overstimulating the gut. Replacing soda with water or trying herbal teas like peppermint, ginger, or chamomile can bring soothing relief and help your gut breathe easier. So we've seen how something as simple as a morning drink or a can of soda can make IBS worse. But it's not just beverages. Greasy and spicy foods are another hidden enemy. Next, let's uncover why a hot pizza, a crispy piece of fried chicken, or a fiery chili dish can leave your gut in distress. 3. High-fat and spicy foods. Greasy, spicy foods have an irresistible charm. A slice of cheesy pizza, crispy fried chicken, or a steaming bowl of spicy noodles can make anyone's mouth water. But for people with IBS, these foods can ignite the gut like a wildfire. Fried and fatty foods are packed with saturated fats and additives. Fat slows down digestion, keeping food in the system longer, which often causes bloating, fullness, and cramps in sensitive guts. Spices like chili and pepper can irritate the gut lining, triggering sudden contractions and urgent diarrhea. Put the two together, high fat and high spice, and your digestive system faces a double storm. I recall a college student in California sharing her story. During finals week, she relied on fast food to save time. Pizza at night, fried chicken at midnight, all while cramming for exams. At first, she just felt a bit bloated, but soon, IBS hit hard. Severe cramps and sudden diarrhea, even in the middle of her exam. That experience taught her that no matter how convenient or tasty, greasy and spicy fast foods would never be her gut's friend. After switching to simple homemade meals, steamed fish, boiled vegetables, light soups, her stomach calmed and her mind focused better. Lesson: you don't need to cut out all the flavors you love. What matters is preparation and portion. Swap fried for grilled, or pick a mild soup instead of fiery noodles. These small adjustments can reduce the strain on your gut while keeping food enjoyable. If fatty and spicy foods are the obvious enemies, there's another hidden trigger often overlooked: dairy and lactose. For many with IBS, even a glass of milk or a small piece of cheese can make for an uncomfortable day. Let's see why. 4. The hidden role of dairy and lactose. For most people, milk and dairy products like cheese, yogurt, or ice cream are seen as healthy staples for bones and overall nutrition. But for those with IBS, these healthy foods can quietly turn into troublemakers. The issue lies in lactose, a sugar found in cow's milk and dairy. To digest lactose, the body needs an enzyme called lactase. Many adults, especially those with IBS, don't produce enough. Undigested lactose moves into the large intestine, where bacteria ferment it, producing gas and drawing in water. The result? Bloating, cramps, and sometimes diarrhea, even after just one glass of milk. I remember a middle-aged woman in Chicago who loved starting her mornings with a latte and ending her nights with a bowl of vanilla ice cream. This routine lasted for decades. But soon, IBS left her with constant bloating and dull stomach pain all day. When her doctor suggested cutting out dairy for a few weeks, she hesitated but gave it a try. Within 10 days, her symptoms eased. She switched to almond milk and lactose-free cheese, and the difference was dramatic. Her gut felt lighter, her sleep improved, and even her skin looked healthier. Lesson: dairy isn't the only source of calcium. Dark leafy greens, almonds, sardines, or fortified plant-based milks can all provide it too. The key is to listen to your body. If you consistently feel unwell after drinking milk, it may be time to try alternatives. And if lactose is the hidden culprit in your diet, there's another powerful factor most people overlook: stress. Stress doesn't just affect your mind, it sends shockwaves down to your gut. In the next part, we'll explore the fascinating and sometimes frustrating connection between the brain and the digestive system, and why managing stress might be the secret key to managing IBS. 5. Stress and the gut-brain connection. There's an unexpected truth. Our gut isn't just where food is digested. It's often called our second brain. Scientists call it the gut-brain axis. This means that every emotion, worry, or stress in your mind can send signals directly to your digestive system, and vice versa. That's why stress doesn't just cause headaches or sleepless nights. It can also ignite sudden IBS flare-ups. When you're under stress, your body releases hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These stimulate the gut's nervous system, making the intestines contract faster and harder. For most people, this may just feel like the urge to use the bathroom when nervous. But for someone with IBS, these contractions can become intense and uncontrollable, leading to cramps, bloating, diarrhea, or constipation. I remember a conversation with a woman working in Seattle. She told me that on mornings when she had an important presentation, her stomach would tighten painfully right before entering the meeting room. Once, she even had to step out mid-presentation because of unbearable cramps and an urgent need for the restroom. Later, she learned to practice deep breathing, light yoga each morning, and a short 15-minute walk after lunch. With time, she began to control her IBS flare-ups better. The fascinating part was that when her mind felt calmer, she worked more effectively and confidently in meetings as well. A common mistake is focusing only on diet or medication, while forgetting that the mind plays a huge role in regulating digestion. People don't realize that every time they worry excessively, suppress emotions, or overwork, they're sending waves straight to their gut. Lesson: caring for your mental health is caring for your digestive health. Simple habits like meditating for a few minutes before bed, journaling your thoughts, or simply pausing to take deep breaths can significantly ease IBS symptoms. Sometimes it isn't a dietary change that makes the difference, but the way you learn to slow down and find calm in daily life. And if stress can make the gut stormy, another factor quietly adds fuel to the fire: poor sleep. Lack of sleep doesn't just make you tired, it throws off your body's rhythm and makes IBS more likely to flare up. Let's see why sleep is so vital for a sensitive gut. Chapter 6. Poor sleep habits. A good night's sleep is like pressing the reset button for your body. But when you regularly get less than 6 hours a night, not only does fatigue set in, but your digestive system also suffers. For people with IBS, poor quality sleep is almost like an invitation for cramps, bloating, or irregular bowel movements the very next day. When you're sleep deprived, cortisol, the stress hormone, rises. This not only strains your mind, but also directly impacts the gut-brain axis, causing irregular contractions. On top of that, your body clock becomes disrupted, leaving your digestive system unsure of when to rest and when to be active. The result? IBS flare-ups that can feel even worse than eating the wrong food. I remember a man in his 50s from Florida who shared his story. He often stayed up late watching sports or scrolling online, sleeping only 4 to 5 hours each night. At first, he thought his body had adapted, but soon, IBS showed up more frequently. Painful cramps in the morning, bloating throughout the day, and trouble focusing at work. When his doctor advised him to try getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep, he was skeptical. But within weeks of changing his routine, turning off his phone before bed, swapping his evening coffee for chamomile tea, he noticed a dramatic improvement. His gut felt calmer, his IBS pain lessened, and his energy returned during the day. A common mistake is trying to catch up on sleep during weekends. People stay up late all week, then sleep in on Saturday and Sunday. But this only disrupts the body clock even more, making IBS harder to control. Lesson: sleep is free medicine for the gut. Keeping a consistent bedtime, creating a calm sleep environment, and avoiding bright screens before bed may seem like small changes, but they can make a world of difference for anyone living with IBS. And if lack of sleep makes your gut rebel, then a sedentary lifestyle can be just as damaging. Sitting for hours slows down your digestion, making constipation and bloating unwanted companions. Up next, let's explore why a little daily movement can help your digestive system thrive. 7. Sedentary lifestyle, sitting too much. We live in an age where almost everything revolves around a chair. Sitting 8 hours at the office, sitting in the car for long commutes, then sitting again in front of the TV or phone at home. This low-movement lifestyle may seem harmless, but for people with IBS, it quietly worsens symptoms. When you sit too long, bowel movements, the natural contractions that move food along, slow down. As a result, food and gas linger longer, leading to constipation, bloating, and discomfort. The body needs movement to activate digestion. Without it, the intestines become sluggish, and IBS flare-ups follow. I recall a truck driver in Texas who shared that he practically lived on his driver's seat for years. His job required endless hours on the road, with meals consisting mostly of fast food. At first, he only had mild constipation, but eventually, IBS became a nightmare. Painful bloating, hard abdomen, and cramps so severe he had to pull over on the highway. When his doctor advised him to take 10 to 15 minutes to walk during breaks and add some simple stretches, he gave it a try. The results were remarkable. Within weeks, constipation eased, his belly felt lighter, and even his stress during long drives decreased. A mistake many people make is thinking that a few intense workouts per week are enough. In reality, for IBS, it's not about heavy exercise. It's about gentle, consistent movement. A short daily walk, some morning yoga, or even standing up and stretching every hour at work can help the gut function more smoothly. Lesson: our bodies were never designed to sit all day. Sometimes, just walking a few minutes after a meal or taking a slow bike ride around the neighborhood is all it takes to get digestion moving again, easing the burden on anyone living with IBS. And if sitting too much can make the gut lazy, there's yet another sneaky culprit hidden in seemingly healthy foods: FODMAPs. Up next, we'll uncover why something as simple as an apple or a bowl of beans can turn into a troublemaker for sensitive guts. 8. Eating too many FODMAP foods without knowing it. There's a paradox many people with IBS face. They try to eat lots of vegetables, fruits, and natural foods to stay healthy, but the more they eat, the more bloated, gassy, and crampy they feel. The reason isn't that these foods are unhealthy, but that they contain FODMAPs, a group of hard-to-digest carbohydrates. FODMAP stands for fermentable oligo, di, monosaccharides, and polyols. These compounds are found in common foods like onions, garlic, beans, apples, pears, milk, and even wheat. In the small intestine, FODMAPs aren't fully absorbed. They pass into the colon, where bacteria ferment them and produce gas. For healthy people, this is normal, but for IBS sufferers, the extra gas and water in the gut often lead to cramps, diarrhea, or constipation. I once heard the story of a teacher in California. Determined to live healthily, she ate large salads every day: onions, beans, apples, and a bit of cheese. But instead of feeling energized, she constantly battled bloating and painful cramps right after meals. After researching and trying a low FODMAP diet, she swapped out onions and beans for lettuce, carrots, and strawberries. The result was dramatic. Within 2 weeks, her gut felt calmer, her energy stabilized, and she could stand in front of her class without worrying about an unexpected IBS flare. A common mistake is believing the more fruits and veggies, the better, or choosing low-fat, low-sugar foods that are unknowingly high in FODMAPs. As a result, people don't understand why their gut keeps reacting despite their healthy choices. Lesson: healthy doesn't always mean suitable for everyone. With IBS, it's not about eating more vegetables. It's about eating the right ones your body can tolerate. Keeping a food diary, writing down what you eat and how your body reacts, can help identify the true triggers in your diet. And if FODMAPs are the hidden culprits in food, another equally common mistake is self-medicating to control symptoms. Instead of improving, many unknowingly make their IBS worse. Let's uncover why quick fixes aren't always safe. 9. Self-medicating the wrong way. Living with IBS can feel overwhelming. Sudden cramps, emergency bathroom trips in the middle of a meeting, or while driving can make daily life stressful. And in that desperation, many turn to self-medicating, thinking a few pills will solve the problem. But often this makes things worse. Take laxatives and anti-diarrheal drugs as examples. When constipated, many people use laxatives daily for quick relief. But overuse makes the gut dependent, weakening natural bowel movements. On the flip side, when diarrhea strikes, people rely heavily on anti-diarrheal pills just to get through work or social events. The result? The gut is forced to hold in gas and toxins, leading to even worse pain later. For IBS, a long-term complex condition, chasing symptoms with short-term medication is like putting out flames on the surface, while the fire still burns underneath. I remember a conversation with an office worker in Boston. She admitted that every time diarrhea hit, she took anti-diarrheal pills so she could continue working. At first, it worked, but a few months later, she developed severe constipation, with constant heaviness in her stomach. When she saw a doctor, she learned that overusing medication had left her gut lazy, losing its natural rhythm. With dietary adjustments, more soluble fiber, and stress reduction, her condition improved without needing those pills. Lesson: many of us think medication is the fastest and safest solution. But with IBS, there is no magic pill. The real solution lies in listening to your body, adjusting lifestyle, improving diet, and managing stress. Medication should only be used when truly necessary, and always with a doctor's guidance. Key takeaway: IBS isn't a disease that can be silenced with a few pills. It's a journey of long-term management. When you understand its nature and take care of your body daily instead of chasing shortcuts, life becomes much easier. And to complete the picture, there's one last factor often overlooked: the balance between water and fiber in your daily diet. Let's see why hydration and the right kind of fiber may be the golden keys to a healthier gut. 10. Ignoring hydration and fiber balance. When it comes to digestive health, most people immediately think of eating more fiber. That's true, but if you only focus on fiber and forget about water, or choose the wrong type of fiber, IBS can quickly get worse. Water and fiber are like an inseparable pair. Fiber needs water to soften and bulk up stool so it can pass easily through the gut. If you eat lots of fiber but don't drink enough water, stool becomes hard and constipation worsens. On the other hand, if you only drink water without enough fiber, your gut lacks the materials to stay regular. And not all fiber is gut-friendly. Insoluble fiber from raw broccoli or beans often causes bloating, while soluble fiber from oats, chia seeds, and apples can soothe the gut. I recall a tech worker in San Francisco. Wanting to improve his digestion, he jumped into a super high-fiber diet: broccoli, lentils, whole wheat bread, and lots of veggie juice. Instead of feeling better, his stomach became hard and bloated, and IBS flared up more severely. When he met with a dietitian, he realized he was consuming too much insoluble fiber at once and missing balance. He adjusted by reducing beans, adding oats and chia seeds, and drinking 8 glasses of water daily. Within weeks, constipation and bloating nearly disappeared, and he could focus on work again without IBS interruptions. A common mistake is believing more fiber is always better. But with IBS, it's not about quantity, it's about balance. Choosing the right type of fiber, pairing it with proper hydration, and making changes gradually can keep the gut working smoothly and prevent flare-ups. Lesson: listen to your body and find balance. Drink water regularly throughout the day. Prioritize soluble fiber over insoluble and avoid sudden drastic changes in your diet. These simple steps may become the golden keys that help you live more comfortably with IBS. We've just walked through 10 daily habits that seem small but greatly impact IBS. From skipping meals and rushing food, to too much coffee or soda, stress, poor sleep, sitting too long, FODMAP-rich foods, self-medicating, and forgetting hydration. Each of these can quietly fuel flare-ups in a sensitive gut. But here's the good news. IBS is not a life sentence. It's a condition you can manage and ease if you're willing to listen to your body and make small, consistent changes. The stories we've shared, switching cow's milk for almond milk, taking a 15-minute walk after meals, or simply getting a full night's sleep, show that even the smallest steps can make a big difference. You don't need to change everything at once. Just start with one thing. Drink an extra glass of water, slow down at meals, or spend 10 minutes in the morning practicing deep breathing. These tiny actions are the foundation for restoring balance to your gut and your life. So let me leave you with a question. If changing one small habit today could ease your IBS tomorrow, which one would you choose? Share your answer in the comments. It might inspire someone else out there. Thank you for staying with me to the end of this video. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who may need it. Sometimes, just one piece of knowledge can change an entire family's life. And remember, your health is in your hands. The small choices you make each day are the keys to living lighter and calmer with IBS.